What's up, gang? Carlton Flowers here, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And we're going to go over one of the coins that I hold via Coinbase Pro, which is JASMY. And I don't think I've covered TA on JASMY as of yet. I've talked about this project in the Telegram group. If you want to join me on the Crypto Pro Telegram group, you're welcome to. We discuss projects and talk TA. We don't sell anything or shill coins. It's a tight-knit group of family and friends from around the world, and things stay under control in our group. It's family friendly, and we talk about what's happening in the market. So we're going to take an unrehearsed look at what's going on in JASMY. I jumped into this project, I believe, at 0.06. Let me pull up my spreadsheet here, and I'll tell you where I'm at with JASMY. Here it is on the spreadsheet. And this basically breaks down how much that I bought and the time, the dates. And I think this is all within a few days. I forgot to put the date after the first order, which was October 11th. But I bought between 8.8 cents and DCA down to 5.5 cents. And was able, with this bigger order here of the 7,000 tokens, to drop my average to just a notch over 6 cents. So I'm at a nice average price there for a total of 10,000 coins, and my cost for that was $600. All right, now let's get rid of my handsome face, and we'll just jump right in. This is the 4-hour chart. So we're going to look at the 4-hour, look at the current situation, and then we'll look at the 1-day chart and maybe even the 1 week. I'm going to scrunch this down a little bit. And like I said, this is unrehearsed. I'm just going to go straight at it and tell you what I see. So this bottom blue line here, that was my point of entry. And then the other lines that you see are significant lines. Oh, crap. Where's the microphone? All right, quick apology because I had the microphone down at the other end of my desk. So I apologize about that. Now it is right in front of me. I'm just losing my mind tonight. At any rate, these other two lines are at previous significant points where the price has pivoted, where we have a support or a resistance, a I just can't talk tonight. This is ridiculous. A significant support or resistance point. All right, now that we have this volume here and this price movement here that is on the chart, we can look at the VPVR and we can notice some very interesting points here. And VPVR stands for Volume Profile Visible Range. That means that we are including the volume of the visible range of the chart, which means from the date of beginning, which is October the 18th, all the way through the current date for this price action here. And then instead of giving a price candle or a volume candle for a particular day, it is giving the bar for that particular price. So we can see where there are previous very popular pricing points where the market makers or institutions tend to do a lot of heavy buying or selling. What generally happens is we see prices pop around from between these points. You see that where the volume node comes up, this is a node here, where it sticks out. This is a big node here, okay? Whenever it pokes out, we call that a node. Here's a node here, and this one's called the point of control. In other words, this is the most dominant node on this visible range for this chart. Now, notice how we are magically right here at this big node at the current price at 10 cents. What can normally happen is we can bounce off of these, bouncing from one to another, where these nodes can be a jump off point to a higher price, or it could send us down to a lower price. The way that we can tell if it's going to jump up higher or move down lower is by the other indicators. Judging from the current stochastic right here, we're at the bottom of a cycle. We had a critical crossover. In fact, it went back and forth several times. But when the fast blue line crosses over the slower orange line, that means a reversal is at hand. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way because it can always flip. But for right now, we have visited the oversold zone here below the 20 line. And now we're currently pointing this direction. So the stochastic is telling us that we might be starting a new upcycle. Now, we don't know how far up it's going to go, and it can pivot and come back down here. But for right now, it's headed up. And so at the best case scenario, it could head all the way up here into overbought territory. Or worst case scenario, it can move up a little bit and then pivot back down. All right, now let's look downstairs on the MACD. We notice that down here, we are in the negative below the zero line on the MACD, where we're printing bars in the negative, red bars on the histogram. We also see that the oscillators are down here in the bearish territory. Now let's clear this and let's zoom in a little bit more so we can get a better understanding of this current MACD situation. So I'm going to zoom in. Move this up a little bit, and now we can really see it here where it looks like we have a crossover of the fast and slow lines on the oscillators that's coming right here. And this could mean that since we've dipped way down here into the negative territory, we could be starting to make our way back up to this zero line here. We also notice that after this brief popping above the zero line with the histogram, we had moved into the negative with the red bars being printed on the histogram, but now we have these two tiny light red bars, which means that we are approaching the zero line. They're shrinking. Whenever you see the dark bars, it's growing, and when you see the light bars, it's shrinking. See these dark green growing, then light green shrinking, all right? And sometimes it goes back and forth. So that means we're probably headed in this direction. Those two clues would tell us that we're probably going to go this direction after bouncing off of this 10-cent node. It's not a guarantee, but that's the best that we can go by for right now. Now, let's zoom out to the one-day chart and see what it's telling us. Now, here we are on the 1 day. Let's scrunch both of these down so we can get a good idea. And we see this amazing action on the histogram. When we really squish this down, we can see that we had some serious volatility back here in the summer months and that we've had quite a flattening out. Now, if you don't know, you can look back in history and see where this thing came from. This is why I jumped in, because it's gone through its dog days where it's laying low on the ground. And that's when I always tell people you buy during the dog days. Then we had this bump up here of a consolidation move and then the breakout. Now, on the 1 day chart, if we zoom in a little bit more, we can see this big fat volume node. The POC price is at 2 cents. I don't think we're going to revisit that. Let's zoom in even further into the current time period here, and we can see some of these other nodes start to pop up. There's our 10-cent node right there, and the next one would be up above here where we don't have as much price history, but this could be the next spot if we are moving up and bounce positively off of this 10 cents node. Now, just like the 4-hour chart, the 1 day chart is showing the stochastic to be in the oversold zone, which this is kind of good. The reason is it is saying that we're almost to the bottom of this area here. We do have the slow line above the fast line, which says that we're still in a bearish movement, but we're at the bottom. So it could be ready to be completed where we start to turn up and go this direction. Whenever the 4-hour chart and the 1 day chart have the stochastic in the same position, that's kind of an indication that you might be at the end of a current trend. In other words, we had our downtrend here on the micro, and then we could start an uptrend here. Now, there's no guarantees that this can happen, and please do not take this as financial advice, and I'm not a prognosticator, and I'm not trying to get clout on the YouTubes for saying, well, I said it was going to move up last week, and by God, it happened, so I'm a hot shot. I'm definitely not a hot shot. I'm just trying to point out the evidence of what we see on the chart so we can make an educated guess and have a little bit of a light shining in the forest to help us along the way in this crazy market. Now, let's zoom in here on the MACD, and we see that it is lagging behind the oscillators with the stochastic. It is just now crossing the zero line, and it looks like it's got just a little bit more ways to go before it bottoms out, and then, of course, we would start on an upcycle. So it appears that we are in a good position here with the positioning on price and also with the oscillators, the stochastic and the MACD, which are my favorite indicators. And those can let us know, okay, how far down can it go? Now, worst case scenario, we do have this blue line here. And I have this blue line there for a reason. It dates back to a previous support and resistance. Let's just go back and see where that is. If we go way, way back, there it is right there. Do you see that? Do you see where price jumped up and got rejected right there? That's what made that blue line. Now, if we go even further back, we see that there was some happening right here where it was bouncing around in that area. But this is the main point of where I drew that blue line that tells us that it could be a support because it was resistance here. And the next time we broke through it, so now it could flip from resistance to support. Now, that's just kind of the best guess that we can get from the evidence that is presented to us from the chart. So our possibility is that we could go all the way down to this blue line here that comes in at a price of what? That's about 8 cents. I think that we're going to stick this 10 cents and move up. That's the highest probability. If we fail that, the next possible action would be jumping down to this 8 cents point. After that, the next on the scale of most likely to least likely would be dropping all the way down to the point of control price of 6.5 cents. And then this volume node here underneath that is at about what, 5.6 cents? That's our last possibility. But we're just so deep down in here in this cycle, I don't know if we'll make it that far down. I don't think we're even going to make it down to this support resistance level at 8 cents, but it can happen. So that kind of lets you know. Now, when we look at the 1 week chart, I like looking at this because this really gives a good, clear picture, the big picture, the overall, where we don't have enough price history to get anything printed on the MACD, but it does tell us the positioning of the action on the stochastic. Now, what could happen on the stochastic on the 1 week chart, since we're running into a bull market peak in the cycle, this could do something like this, and we could end up having a market cycle peak, say, in January or February, or maybe even into March, and then we start the process again. We normally do stuff, something like that. But these peaks will happen all throughout the cycles, and we'll just have to wait and watch. But I think that there will be one somewhere around January to February, as late as March is where our market cycle peak will be. So with this correction here, hey, we might make it to this blue line. We might make it to my entry price, maybe to the point of control. But it's not going to be that bad. I think overall we're going to bounce somewhere out of here and we're going to hit our market cycle peak, and then we go into a bear market. So that's just my thoughts. Hopefully that gives you some idea of the possibilities of what can happen. And that pretty much does it. And I also would like to give you an invite to come and join my Telegram group if you all want to discuss the action on your favorite altcoins. Please feel free to do so. We don't shill, we don't sell things, and we don't do advertisements in my group. I don't allow that. But if you just want to come in and discuss what's going on in the market, then please jump on in. Special shout out to Dennis Taylor for requesting this video to take a look at the JASMY action. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit, and I'll be looking forward to hearing your feedback in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you have not thus far, and we'll see you on the next video. This is Carlton, and I am out.